guys, welcome back to Transits and Tactics. We had such an amazing transit last time with the Gate of Storytelling 56, and the energy, in my experience, continues with the solar transit in Gate 31, Gate of Leadership or Influence. Oh my God, such an amazing time to show leadership right now, whether it's for yourself or others. It's really not the time now to slow down, to accelerate. Honestly, my message, this is now the time for action. This is the time where you can really show up and shine your light in a really big way. So I am enjoying so far. It's really about who you are as a leader, what you have to share, how you're presenting yourself to the world. So I see that there is this continuation from last week, which was about the stories that you are telling, or in terms of like the online visibility, what is the story you are presenting, as your brand. And this time it's also about who you are, but how you say it, what you say it, how do you lead, what do you lead with. And I'm finding that this is more even focusing energy, because last time it was the gate of storytelling, but the gate of distraction as well. It's known as the gate of distraction, right? So this week we're having a little bit more focus. We can focus on like the nitty-gritty, the ideas, the what we're presenting with. However, there is also like a shadow side, or the side to be aware, because this is the leadership. We have to think about politicians, right? So the politician comes up and makes all these promises, and it's exciting, or at least hopeful for a change. There's a motivation to act. There's some new ideas. There's inspiration. But as we know, the politicians, after they're elected, often do the U-turns on whatever they were saying, right? So there is this energy where we are talking about something, or somebody can be talking about something, but it might sound great and logical, but without action, it's just talk. So we have this earth grounding us in the gate of contraction, and it is about grounding that leadership talk and assessing, do you have the resources, or even if you don't have much resources, to see if everybody is on board, and can this be put into action, and not just great talk that you're indulging in. And I find that this is really, really good to be aware of that. And so following your strategy, following your authority, inner authority, inner guidance, that's how you can make correct choices during this transit. So don't jump into something that is like a short-term fantasy. Think about the long-term potential of this, and just be very careful what you say, how you say, who you say it to. I think it's about the responsibility for your words, but the goal here is to add more order and positivity. It's about assessing what doesn't work, and maybe like just letting go of things that are not keeping you in a positive alignment. That is very interesting. Anita, how are you experiencing this week?
Yeah, this is great because it's Leo energy. So it's way more, it's much lighter than the Cancer. It's not as an emotionally draining time. And it's so you'll feel that extra fire, that drive to want to do something. And then at the same time, fixate on worst case scenarios as to why you don't do them. So this is again Leo, and 41 is into Aquarius. This is about creating new goals, manifesting based on what has worked in the past. This is about creating new goals based on that you can't know the outcome. You're trying new things, you're moving into a new area in your life, you don't know the outcome. And this is a very important time to release any expectations about what that might be. So in other words, with Leo, it's I love to take center stage. I love to shine. And am I shining in a way that's helping others, or in a way that's just about me? It can be a place where you might feel challenged taking the lead in your own story. You might be challenged you might not feel that you're worthy. Who am I to express my opinion, my voice? But actually, that's what we need. It's your voice that helps us to round our opinions, and create more, what's the word? create more balanced and grounded opinions on a particular subject. Your voice is so important. And so trying, say, even in marketing and business, trying to be like everything else, everyone else keeps you invisible. But the whole point here is we're creating, there's a lot of uncertainty in the world. There's a lot of things that have been opened up for change. We don't know what's next, but we do know ourselves. So you do know your decision strategy. You do know who you are. Hopefully you do. And if you don't, like, keep following these transits because you will gather information about this. But it's about manifesting when we can't know the answer.
Mm,
People, there might have been strategic business processes or marketing processes that we've been following that now no longer work necessarily because
that's
they
true.
need that unique input. So this is about moving into a space of um, trusting yourself,
Mm.
trusting in your ability and valuing your voice and having the courage, Leo, the lion, having the courage to express it.
I love it because like Leo is it's a very vibrant energy, but it's also very vulnerable. It's like
Mm,
this vibrancy is covering up the fears and insecurities and vulnerabilities inside. Like all Leos, I have sort of have that trait a little bit in them. And the energy right now with gate 31 and 41, and it is about either shining your light, but you might find yourself in that kind of shadow thing where you feel like you can't. So the question is like, why? What's happening? What is keeping you hidden? And this is the time I think this week, and this is what I see, that this is the transit that can bring out what is hidden, what is stopping you from shining now. What is stopping you from enjoying the light of the others in a way? There's something that is hidden and might be hidden from you. This is a great week because it's the week where things will come out. And yes, the criticism, we were talking about this last week about you were mentioning about the transit that maybe makes us all will you remind me what it was again, the transit that makes us all more maybe subject to judgment?
absolutely. It's the nodes, the north and south
Yes.
node. This is what everybody is feeling right now, the platform that we're playing on. And there was something I wanted to say there, but I forget. So keep talking and
No,
until
that's
it.
okay. So the unsolicited advice as well, we were talking about it last time, but this week, especially if you have an open throat, remember that it's not about you just talking at people. They have to be listening. And if they're not listening, there's a great question. And actually, I underlined this because this is a great marketing question when you're, creating your messaging. What are they ready to hear instead? So there's something you want to say, right? But what are they ready to hear? Because if you focus on what they're ready to hear, and especially then coming into marketing and sales and getting clients, like what do they need to hear that they're open? And this is something that is kind of like attractive to them. And this is what they at this moment think they want, rather than what you know that they need. And you keep talking about this, but they're kind of, ignorance and arrogance and sort of like, I know my own business, I don't need guidance, but I need that. So give them that. What do they want to hear in a way? And you don't need to still focus within. What is it within you that you love doing, that part of what you're doing that can be this kind of like a foot in the door? Because this is something that, they initially hire you for, they initially want. And it's a great shift you can achieve in your business when you figure that out. So this is maybe a good week and a good energy to think, what are they ready to hear? Where are they at? So what did your ideal clients bring to the table? Not just anybody, right? But the ones with best potential to be your client. What do they bring to the table? Where are they at? What are they thinking? Where are they ignorant? Where are they a little arrogant? And you know that this is where they need to work through, but don't push it, because people usually say, like, mind your own business. You know,
Yeah.
I don't
And that,
need a guide. I
yeah,
am, I've achieved all these
exactly.
things. But yeah, so this is interesting to kind of listen to people, and what they need for you to have that power.
Exactly. And people say with this energy from the G center to the throat, the vulnerability is because What you're saying is your inner guidance, and it may defy current patterns and current expectations. And that's where the vulnerability comes in. Oops, this is different to what everyone else is saying, you know? And so that's where the courage is required. And then being afraid of being judged by others.
Yes, I love it because human design just gives so many answers
Yeah.
to why we feel like, oh my God, this is different. Oh my God, this is not like how things should be, how my marketing coach said it should be. You know, I took this 55,000 courses and they all said to me, you have to do it this way, but I want to do it this way and I can't. I want to say it this way and I can't because, you know, they told me or I read a book on this. You can. And the human design, I
Exactly.
love it. It tells you why, where is your hookup and what's the aligned way for you to show up like this. So when it comes to saying like I do it differently, you can get cocky about it, and you can see I'm getting cocky now because this is the shift I've had. This is my lived experience from like, oh my God, how can I talk about this, to saying, well, bring it on. This is my opinion, right? I'm like, it's okay to have an opinion. And so, yes, this is a big empowering energy to assess this. Are you the architect of your life?
Yeah, yeah. And now more than ever, we're seeing what isn't working. So now more than ever, your unique voice is needed. Now more than ever, we are looking for alternatives because we see the conventional that isn't working. And we're not throwing the baby out with the bathwater, but we are building on what where we feel limited, you know, where we're already feeling limited instead of kind of, I find with manifesting, people set these lofty goals that are so far removed from where they are, rather than start where you are now. Where do you feel limited? How can you expand that and bring more flow? Now you're at the next step, and the timing is key here. You know, is it
Mm,
the time to express this? Is this the right person to express this to? And understanding that moving from the limitation is a lovely, it's a beautiful way to set a goal when you don't know what's next. Start with where you know you're feeling tighter that you want to expand. So it's like moving us into the Leo energy of, I can do this. I have my own fire.
mm.
This is possible. I can bring my light here and understand that it is just going to feel a little, it's going to feel vulnerable because it's coming from your heart.
Yeah,
Uh,
exactly.
you know,
There's
and
another little thing I want to add to this. And you were talking about, you know, maybe letting go of some things. This is this is the leadership is also assessing the processes right now. It's a very good time. Assess the processes. Like what doesn't require your undivided attention? Because if it does, this could be the time right now where it can either end or transform into something new, because it's not actually healthy to have something requiring your undivided attention. Things need to flow on their own as well. You need to have like you doing your thing and your processes and your business and your life. There's other things that are just flowing beside you without you constantly, you know, being a nanny for it. And it's a really, really good time, because you know what I noticed is a lot of times we're just so conditioned to how things should be, that we're spending most of our life on things that require too much attention, that are not essential,
mm,
emotions, feelings that are not essentials. They're just like camping in your head for nothing.
mm.
So you can get a bit more protective. You only have one life to live and you don't know when it's going to end. I'm going to be morbid now, as you know, someone who is a widow. You never know when it's going to end. Therefore, you have responsibility not to let this life waste, these thoughts, these emotions, these other people grabbing your energy. Don't let it. Be protective of yourself. You don't know how many summers you have left, you know. So I think it's a really beautiful way of putting it. Remove the unnecessary. Be inspired by vibrant people in your world. You know, combine what you haven't tried before. Try these things. Be against the grain. And I love it. When I was researching about this transit, one of the sources said, be cautious, there's a possibility that you will be happy. And I love this because this is it. It's a leap into the unknown. It's just taking a little bit responsibility, letting go of things that are just a burden that you don't really need. What a
That's,
beautiful week.
yeah, that is absolutely true because it is unknown. We are creating it. So, this is a beautiful thing. When we're moving from feeling like we are being dictated to or told what to do or feel we should do something into this is what I want, and taking the lead in our own story and literally creating our own story rather than waiting for someone else to bring it to us. And that's a very big move where we're moving for the next 20 years, believe it or not. Pluto is moving into Aquarius in November. So we're literally moving into a new era of doing your thing without apology and shining
Mm.
without apology and just managing your timing with that. So this is where human design is a super asset.
Oh, so good. And just to wrap up, guys, this is also because it's a leadership. Leadership comes with a way you present yourself, so it's a lot about the way you communicate and your demeanor and just generally a lot of leaders miss the mark because they're using a wrong language or tone that doesn't connect to their audience. So think about this. And another thing, this is something that throughout this today's video we were talking about, when you're saying like think about what people ready to hear, this is not about you now contracting. Remember, there is a gate of contraction right now acting. So about contracting, it's like, oh my god, fuck, I don't know, trying to figure out, second guess, what is this. No, it's about this momentary inspiration because you have it, you have that knowledge within you. It's just when you are maybe giving, talking too much, your mind is deafening you in a way. But it is, all the information is within you. It's not about you now contracting and expecting something externally to come to you. No, it's about you just doing a little bit of a mental analysis, mental, clearance, saying, okay, hang on a second. So what do they normally, how do they come to me? What is in your experience happened before? So it's a very interesting conversation. It's a very long conversation, like how clients find me, and you go into this like, oh my god, I need to think how they think, or blah blah blah. And then actually, if you look at the evidence, like in my life, for example, the evidence how a lot of clients find me is they find my article or they see a video and they're like, that's the woman I want to work with. It's like such an instant decision a lot of times, not every time, but a lot of times. So my thinking about like how to communicate, where to show up, what platforms to choose, what formats, this will be how I'm communicating. This will be dictated by the fact that this is how people make this decision with me. This is what they need to hear from me. So I don't actually need to talk to anybody except for asking some of my clients how they found me, right? The rest is just inside your head. This is this analysis. So don't give your power away to external sources. Every time when we say, think about what they do, need, require, it's about you. It's always about you. I just wanted to leave you with this
Yeah,
blessing. Do you
yeah,
have something
yeah.
to add, Anita?
Um, but it's really true. I remember talking to or having a really good reading from a human design expert in the past, and she said, what's defined in your chart is you, what's open in your chart is the other. So, we're always in that space where we can look for that inner guidance, which is this lovely Leo energy. We can look for that inner guidance as to how it's not even about what the other needs. It is about the other needs, but it's not either or. It's about what the other needs and it's about what you're sharing. So it's both and knowing that when you're speaking from the heart, you're actually naturally magnetizing those who actually resonate with your services. And that's a much stronger yes for your client than mentally, the information that can,
That's true. And in a way, both of us in our professional life, this is what we help people with. We help people because it can be extremely confusing for a person to say, what is mine?
Mm.
Like, what is mine? So what we do is we guide you to the empowerment of allowing yourself to be that, to be what's yours and not what they expect, because this is the big difference. It's like when they need, we try to say, okay, what do they need? And then you start thinking about what do they expect instead of tuning within. What do you bring to the table for them? that they need, then it's just tiny tweaks, really, so it's a very, very good. And see, we are now, this is, I think, the influence of this transit as well. Like we're here telling you what the energies are, and all of a sudden we're here discussing this, how do you communicate yourself and all these things. So this is something that you can think on your own. You can reach out to us, either of us, whoever you're attracted the most, and let us help you and guide you to explore how can you show up, especially if you're a coach, especially if you are an expert, especially if you're the face of your business, you're the one presenting it. How can you allow yourself to speak from the heart, and what that speaking from the heart might look like for you? So thank you so much, guys, for watching. We will see you on another Transits and Tactics video.